Hi guys. Today we're going to do a little tutorial demonstrating a relaxation training technique with my dog Tank here. Relaxation training is a really overlooked and critical skill in dog training, and it's useful for all kinds of dogs. Dogs who just have trouble settling, dogs who have a hard time staying calm, dogs who can't focus around distractions, dogs who find things that change in the environment to be overstimulating or overwhelming. So, if you've got a dog who's reactive to, cars or other dogs or people on bikes or kids or any of that kind of stuff, relaxation protocols can be really helpful at both bringing just sort of overall chill and relaxation to your dog's life a little bit, make it easier for them to settle in general, and also we can take this relaxation protocol and then once the dog sort of knows how to do it on a basic level, like what I'm going to show you here with Tank, then we can take it and we can start to introduce whatever variety of triggers or stimuli that's hard for our dog that we are sort of hoping to use the relaxation protocol for. So Tank, for example, needs it for lots of things. So one, he just sort of generally has a hard time staying calm whenever anything's going on in the environment. He's very, very mellow when there's nothing going on. So if he's home and we're just kind of hanging out and there's nothing going on, he's super duper laid back. But anything that changes, a car driving by, a dog barking in the distance, any person, right, anything like that, really sets him off and makes him pretty reactive and agitated, and he's just worried, right? So he's sort of constantly, you can even see him now a little bit kind of looking around, and he'll hear noises and he's sort of worried about what he might be hearing. Relaxation can be done on a mat or a bed, like Tank is laying on one of his beds right now, that he likes to relax on, but can also just be on the ground. We frequently relax with nothing, just laying in the grass as well, so that the dog doesn't need a mat or a bed to be able to do the relaxation. So let's get into this here before this drags on too long with us rambling here. So I'm just showing you the introduction here. This is how we would first introduce a dog to the relaxation protocol if they hadn't done it before. What you're going to need is your dog. We like to have them on a leash, and we start in a low distraction environment. So for a lot of dogs, that actually would be inside of your house, depending on how your setup is. For us, we actually started this training out in the yard because my house is really small, and it's actually sort of difficult to separate the dogs from each other for training stuff inside the house, and it's a little bit easier to do sort of long kind of relaxation settings out here with the other dog just inside the house. And he also really needed to work on relaxing in the yard because that was something that was hard for him. He was always on patrol and very territorial and worried about what was going on. So we started it in the yard, but we do want to start it somewhere where there's not a lot of distraction. So we don't go out to the park or anything like that, or go to a friend's house and try and teach your dog how to do this. We have to teach it to them first, then we're going to introduce the challenging stuff. So we need our dog on a leash. We need a supply of small kind of tasty tidbits. We've got a little container of cheese here that Tank really likes. And then you just need a spot to sit in. You can sit, as the human, you can sit on the ground with your dog, or you can sit in the chair. I'm going to sit in the chair for this exercise. And what you would do is you're going to take the leash. And the leash is just to keep the dog from wandering away, because they might get bored when you're first working on these exercises, and if they can get up and just walk away, then they will, and then we have to get up and go get them, and it just kind of interrupts the exercise. So we start this training out on the leash so that it helps the dog kind of contain in space. And we want to be in an area where there's nothing that the dog could choose to sort of do instead of relaxing. So we don't want toys or chew bones around, or if you have a younger dog that might chew things, you don't want him near furniture that he might chew on, or a bookcase if he's going to pull the books out and chew on it. So we have a nice quiet environment, quiet area to start working. So I'm going to actually get Tank up off of his mat so you can kind of see how we would do this from the beginning. But what I'm going to do is get in a really calm, relaxed position myself, take some nice deep breaths, and I'm going to take a treat, and I'm going to lure my dog to lie down. I don't tell them to lie down, I'm just luring them with a treat. And it's important that we don't use that down cue, because we're going to shift our dog into a training standpoint or training set of mind here, and we don't want them in that mindset. We want our dogs relaxing and not sort of in that active brain mode. So we're going to do this with luring instead. And then I'm going to slowly deliver treats periodically to keep my dog lying down. And if my dog was to hop back up, which Tank normally doesn't do because he's figured this out now, but if our dog gets back up, it's okay. We just lure them back down again. and lower them back down again. And if you want to see how this technique works in really sort of crazy bouncy dogs, if you watch this video and say, oh, sure, it looks easy because that dog's just laying there not moving, I've got some other video tutorials that demonstrate this with some dogs who are not already pre-started on the relaxation training and are quite agitated and amped up, and you can kind of see what that looks like. He sees something, he might be about to go charging off his bed. Good, nice job. All right, so let's take a look and see what this looks like. Ready? Okay, ready? Ready? I'll go fine. All right, so I've got my dog on a leash, and I'm gonna lay down or sit down here with him. He still thinks he sees something across the street. I'm gonna use a food lure to help direct him, and I'm gonna use this bed just because it's right here, and he was comfortably laying on it a minute ago. So I'm luring him to lay down on the bed. And I can take this leash, I can step on it, or I can hold it in my hand. I don't want to be sort of pulling on it or tugging on it for my dog, so I do want to just kind of anchor it somewhere. Good. And so I've lured my dog down, and now I'm just going to deliver treats slowly. My hand is moving slowly. And I am using the speed of delivery to help relax my dog, and also the placement. So all of my treats in relaxation work are going to go right between my dog's paws, right on the ground there. Maybe I'll hand feed it, but it'll be very close to the mat when I do it, or to the ground, depending on what we're working on. So if he had just popped right back up again, or if he was a real wiggly pup, I'd be using a faster treat delivery. I'm still gonna move the treat slowly, but I would give them more frequently if I have a dog who is bouncy, right, if we hop back up again. So if he was to get up, I would just lure him back down. And then after I've lured the dog a few times, if they get up again, then I just sort of wait them out, right? They're on a leash, they can't go anywhere, there's nothing for them to do. They've been lured down 5 or 6 times in a row and gotten treats for it. If you sit and ignore them, they will typically lie down eventually on their own because there's not much else to do, and then we can continue to reward the dog. So I'm going to use my relaxed body language, and Tank may not get as relaxed as normal during this session because I'm talking to you guys, but here's my nice relaxed positioning. Still worried about something across the street. Good. I'm slouching, I'm quite comfortable. I'm breathing very deeply. And moving slowly. Good. With my relaxation protocols, I like to use a good marker, especially for dogs who are fearful or reactive. And so I'm going to use a calmly spoken good that I say to Tank before I give him his treat. And I use the good to mark signs that he's relaxing more. So a minute ago he had placed his chin down, and that was a good, and the treat placed down. Or if he was to roll further on one hip, so he was more kind of on his side instead of sitting up, that would be a good, and then I would treat. And then I also pair it with things in the environment that might be scary or stimulating or triggering to the dog. So for Tank, we've done a lot of work with cars driving by, and I will use the marker good when the car drives by, and then he gets a tidbit. So he is starting to also pair this sort of relaxation exercise with some of the things that usually would fire him up. So we're gonna just sit for a minute. I'm gonna stop talking so that he can hopefully relax a little bit better, and I'm gonna show you what this looks like.